Chris Martin here with Creative Domain, and today's quick tip tutorial is working with rigid bodies in Realflow. So I'm in Cinema 4D and I've got a scene set up with a ball, and I've got some cubes, a floor, and a wall over here. And what we want to do is we want to take this into Realflow and simulate it where the ball is rolling into the cubes and knocking them down. Hopefully we can get one to hit the target over here, the bullseye. So anyway, got everything in here. I've already converted it to polygons, and I think we're about ready to go. So let's go up here to plugins, next to limit, and let's do an export, an SD export. We will select all, and we're going to give it an output. We will call it target. Works for me. Save, and we will save the SD file. Okay, so now let's go into Realflow. We'll need to clean up that desktop. And we will give it a name and a path. And create the project. Okay, let's import our scene. Target. Alright, so here's the scene. Everything is set up. Now we need to turn, let's just select all of these and go to node. And by the way, I don't know if you knew that, but you can select everything and make a change, well, one fell swoop like this. So we'll change them all to rigid bodies. Now the planes are both going to be, we're going to go down here to rigid body, and we're going to, the primitive type, we are going to, we could do plane. Mesh is a little better, but it takes a little longer. Let's just go ahead and do mesh for these. The cubes, let's select all of these. That definitely needs to be mesh. And the ball can be a sphere. Now the ball and the cubes, they both need to have dynamic motion turned on. So let's select the cubes again and select dynamic motion. And I'm going to give them both a mass, well, the mass of 128 for the cubes and 113 for the ball. That should be fine. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to turn my timeline off so I'm not recording keyframes, and then I want to come in here and I want to run the simulation, and let's look at these cubes. You can see that they're not, you can see that there's a little space in between here. So we're going to run the simulation with the timeline turned off. Oh, probably ought to put some gravity in here. Alright. Nothing works without gravity. So let's run the simulation again, and you can see that these fell. Now what we want to do is we want to make that an initial state so that every time we run the simulation, they're already in this place where they fell on top of one another. We don't want them to have to fall on top of one another while the simulation's going on. So after you've run this simulation and you've got the cubes to fall, let's go ahead and select them all. And we'll come to initial state, turn that on, make initial state, reset to initial state. You need to make sure that you click this button next to the reset and click it, and then click reset. And now you can see that they are indeed in a new state. So if I click reset again, you can see that they've already fallen on top of one another. Alright, let's go ahead and save this. Now let's just see what we get. Let's turn our timeline. For the ball, we need to give it some motion. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to come down here to velocity and XYZ. We're going to turn, this is positive Z coming this way, so we want to turn on some negative velocity. Let's say -5. Let's see what that gets us. Let's turn our timeline back on. Click simulate. Not even enough. Alright, we'll reset that. Let's take that up to -25. Okay, we're getting a little more there, but that's still not what I'm looking for. Let's go -50. Boom. Wow, we're getting a little bit more there. And you know something you can do here, if you just you can always play with the gravity. The gravity doesn't have to stay at you know, normal real life gravity. If you want your elements to jump up a little higher, then take your gravity down a little bit. Hey, you're in charge here. So we'll reset that. We will go back to the ball, and let's even kick up the velocity a little bit. Well, let's see what we got over here. Alright, moving a little bit. I'm going to go crazy here and take it up to -100. -100. Reset. Simulate. Boom. Wow. Maybe a little much. Alright, we'll try -75. Reset. Simulate. Alright, that's pretty cool. Alright. So we'll go with that. Okay. I'm going to save this out. I'm going to go back into Cinema 4D. I'm going to take my plug-in, next limit, and I'm going to do my SD import. I'm going to go to File and navigate to my scene folder, which is here, and it's going to be in the Objects folder. Double click the animation. Boom. We'll probably need to take the timeline up to 200 to match the Realflow scene. So let's just run through it. There we go. That is running a simulation in Realflow and bringing it back into Cinema. Pretty cool. Alright, well, that is the quick tip tutorial for today. Hope that helps.